I wanted to mention something else we have from these days, and it's about Sergio Ramos. Legend of the game, Real Madrid legend. He spent the last months of his career at Rayados in Mexico, Monterrey. But Sergio Ramos has informed Monterrey, also via his agent, that he's not going to stay at the club in 2026. It means that Sergio Ramos will be available on a free transfer now, immediately, for January, because he wants a different chapter. My understanding is that Sergio Ramos doesn't want to retire. Sergio Ramos wants to play football. Sergio Ramos wants to play very competitive football. Sergio Ramos has had a good experience in Mexico. He was happy at Rayados. He did also quite well in the Club World Cup. He scored a goal against Inter. So Sergio Ramos had a very good impact there. But now wants to try something different. And so Ramos would be open to returning to Europe. Ramos would be open to even a 6 months opportunity in Europe. So keep an eye on this one, because Sergio Ramos will be offered to club, will be considered. And I think it will be an interesting name, because Sergio is showing that, okay, he's not young anymore, but still, at Rayados, he's showing his impact. He's not a top name who is only going and staying on the bench or only training. When he's playing, he's having an impact, so maybe not at the highest level possible, but there are many clubs that could take this into consideration. So keep an eye on Sergio Ramos as a free agent already from January. So it's not for the summer, it's for now. And then, guys, I wanted to talk to you about two midfielders. One is called Mendoza. Save this name, Mendoza from Elche. 20 years old, has a release clause of 20 million euros, and this release clause is attracting several clubs. Arsenal had their scouts already in 2 games between October and November to follow Mendoza. Arsenal are keeping close eye on the player. Not only Arsenal, because also Italian and Spanish clubs are monitoring this boy. Again, Spanish, quality player, 20 years old. Again, 20 million euros could be a bargain. Arsenal are very good with these opportunities. Mosquera was not about a release clause, but was an opportunity, for example, out of contract at Valencia. Arsenal, Andrea Berta, decided to go for it and sign a top defender for a very cheap price. So Mendoza could be an opportunity. At the moment, Arsenal are happy with the midfielders they have, so it's not something imminent, but they're monitoring the player. There are more clubs, again, interested in this boy, so let's see what's going to happen. But for sure, an interesting player to follow with a lot of clubs tracking him, including the Gunners, who are doing fantastic, who are focusing on new contracts, Bukayo Saka, Jarian Timber, soon also Declan Rice, but still keep close eye to the opportunities on the market. And when we say opportunities, guys, Andre Curi, who is the agent of Estevao, but also the agent of Ederson, the midfielder from Atalanta, sent a message in the recent days. And the message coming from the agent of Ederson, Brazilian midfielder, great intensity, great energy, a player who's been in the list of Manchester United for a long time. He was on target for Man United 1 year ago. Then it was not possible in January 2025 to get a deal done with Atalanta. First, as I told you a few days ago, and also for Vinicius Junior. For Arsenal, guys, the focus is on contracts, because Arsenal did a fantastic job in the summer transfer window. Arsenal will have a new man as part of their recruitment team, and it's going to come from Italy, so same as Andrea Berta, who was the director at Atletico de Madrid, but he's Italian. And another Italian man is coming at Arsenal, and is Maurizio Micheli. Maurizio Micheli is one of the key figures at Napoli now. He's going to leave the club with immediate effect. He's already communicated his intention to go to Arsenal. But Micheli is one of those men who, together with the former director Cristiano Giuntoli, was one of the men who helped Napoli build some of their best signings in the recent years, going from Kvaratskhelia, from Kim Min-jae. So always a leading figure when it's time to scout players and decide who is the right signing. Well, you can imagine signing players like Kim Min-jae, players like Kvaratskhelia. Not bad at all. And so Maurizio Micheli is going to Arsenal. Meanwhile, Arsenal are working on new contracts. For Arsenal, contracts are very, very important. We saw that because they extended the contract of William Saliba. They did a very good job with Miles Lewis Kelly, with Ethan Nwaneri. So Arsenal are always on point when it's about new contracts. And I wanted to mention 3 more. So for Bukayo Saka, Arsenal are making very good progress. There is a negotiation ongoing, but the exchange is quite positive between Arsenal and Bukayo Saka's camp over new contract. Saka wants to stay. Arsenal obviously wants Saka to stay. So the conversation is very good at this stage between Saka and Arsenal. Jarry and Timber, conversations underway between the Dutch defender and Arsenal over new contracts. So also in this case, the talks are ongoing. Arteta is a big fan of the player. Timber is helping in several positions. Arsenal believe that his potential is still huge. So he is already doing fantastic, but he can do even better in the future. And so Arsenal want to give him a new deal as soon as possible. And the conversation is well underway with Bukayo Saka and with Jarry and Timber. So let's follow these two situations because Arsenal are really working hard on these two. And then what's next? Now the priorities are Saka, Timber. Don't forget that they also gave a new salary to David Raya, same length of the contract but higher salary to make him happy. He was already happy, but to make him happier and to reward him as he deserved, as David Raya is doing fantastic for Arsenal this season. And not only, after all of this, so not today, not tomorrow, it's going to take time, but in Arsenal plans, there is also the idea to offer a new contract to Declan Rice. So Arsenal also want to discuss with Declan Rice and offer him a new deal. It's part of the plans, it's part of the conversation, so let's follow that situation because also Declan is going to be one of the names being mentioned internally for a new deserved contract. Wanted to close this video on midfielders, guys, as many of you keep asking me, there is a lot of confusion in the media. Who is the dream target for Manchester United and midfielder? My information, guys, remains that there are several names, and we will discuss. It's not to predict the future, it's to tell you what's happening today. And as of today, there is still nothing advanced with any club for January. The feeling of those close to Marc Guéhi is that the most likely outcome of this story is a move in the summer, on a free transfer, staying at Crystal Palace until the end of the season, and then join his favorite club in the summer. There is Liverpool in the race, there is Bayern in the race, there are more English clubs, including Man City, also calling. Barcelona and Real Madrid just made some calls to understand the situation already at the end of October, beginning of November. We will see in case they decide to enter the race officially or not. But for Guéhi, there is a lot of interest. Liverpool already had a deal agreed on deadline day, and then it collapsed because of what we know. But Liverpool remain in the race for Guéhi, so there are many clubs interested in the player. But at the moment, the most likely outcome is a summer move. Then, I say for now, because in the market you never know, and maybe any moment any club can arrive in January, maybe because of injuries, maybe because of problems, put the money on the table and try to sign the player from Palace already in January. So let's keep that option open. But as of today, the most likely outcome is a free transfer in the summer transfer window. So we will be following the situation for sure. On Liverpool, let me add what I told you yesterday. Today's surgery for Alexander Isak, and so that's a bad news. He will be out for several months. Liverpool will now assess what to do in the January transfer window, but there is a possibility, as I told you yesterday, Liverpool will enter the market. We will see whether it's going to be for one or two positions, but Liverpool are considering the possibility to enter the January transfer window. And so good luck to Alexander Isak, who will be out for some time. And then, guys, stay connected on the Antoine Semenyo situation, because Man United have made a decision. That's internal, but also public. Ruben Amorim explained that Man United in January will not go for short-term solutions. Injury for Bruno Fernandes, small injury for Kobbie Mainoo, players going to the AFCON. Ruben Amorim said in public, but also in private meetings with the directors of Manchester United, I don't want players for 2-3 months, and then we already know in April that he's going back to his club in the summer. Ruben Amorim wants signings for the future. So signings for the long term. Man United will not sign a player that will spend at Man United maybe 2-3 months, maybe 10 games, and then leaving. He wants different approach. If he has to suffer by injuries and these kind of situations, he's ready to do that. But in case of January signings, he wants important players for present and future, not just for the present, not just for the short term. That's the mission, and in this way, Man United are pushing and pushing and pushing to try to get the deal done for Antoine. Also because Hendrik will be back to Real Madrid in summer 2026, but a clause for an extra payment to Real Madrid if Hendrik doesn't play a certain number of games, because they want guaranteed game time for Hendrik, the player, Real Madrid, and so the direction is very clear. Hendrik already spoke to Paulo Fonseca, and so I fully expect Hendrik to be one of the first names of the January transfer window, joining Olympique Lyon. Another big name, guys, Antoine Semenyo. The release clause, £65 million, is gonna be valid until the beginning of January. Around, is not official, is a private document, but sources say around 10th of January. That would be the expiry of the release clause for Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth. A January move is expected to happen, because in November, Liverpool called to be informed on Semenyo. and Liverpool appreciate the player, but at the moment Liverpool have not made official contact with Bournemouth or with his camp to start negotiations. Just a call in November to understand the structure of the release clause. Tottenham have been interested, but in this moment, what I can tell you is that after the last 2-3 days, at the moment, Tottenham are not advancing on this topic for Semenyo, as of today. Then the two clubs from Manchester. If you are following my channel here, I told you, Monday, Tuesday, Man United and Man City both called for Antoine Semenyo. I can confirm that. Man City and Man United are both involved in the conversation for Antoine Semenyo. So United are in the race, eventually to have Semenyo to play in different positions, can play in the current system for Ruben Amorim, or eventually they can change the system and Semenyo could be still an important player with a different kind of tactical approach. And then there is Manchester City looking for a winger in 2026. Semenyo is not the only name on their shortlist. Man United already had Semenyo on their list in the summer, but then they invested on Mbeumo and Cunha. But Amorim is a big fan of Antoine Semenyo, and Man City are also there, with their management very interested in the player. So City and United fully involved. Liverpool made a call in November. Tottenham liked the player, but at the moment the deal is still not advancing. So let's see what's going to happen, because remember, the clause is there, £65 million. So it's on Semenyo to decide what he wants to do. And these conversations with the clubs are going to be important to understand his future. But remember, the clause is expiring on the 10th of January. So it's going to be a crucial moment very soon to decide the future of Antoine Semenyo. In these conversations, guys, usually players also want to understand about the managers. And one of the managers involved is Pep Guardiola. Today, Pep Guardiola said in a very clear way that he's fully focused on Manchester City. He said, you always ask me about this question, if I can leave City or not at the end of the season, but maybe when I will be 75 or 76, I will be leaving Man City. Of course, Pep is joking, but what I can tell you is that internally at Manchester City, what they are doing is just preparing a contingency plan in case Pep leaves in summer 2026. Is that decided? No. Is that guaranteed? No. But Enzo Maresca is part of a short list, not only Enzo Maresca, of managers appreciated by Man City. Then, as I told you yesterday, let's call it an appreciation, because at the moment there are no agreements, nothing done, nothing decided for Pep, for Enzo. That's the situation. So, let's respect all these managers doing their hard job for Man City, for Chelsea in this case, Enzo Maresca and Pep Guardiola, and then we will see. It's an appreciation, it's a contingency plan. Pep has not communicated anything, has not decided anything. Enzo Maresca in press conference, the time in the summer they've been busy, Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Kelly, then we saw William Saliba. Arsenal have been active on several contracts in the recent months, with the new director Andrea Berta very busy with the project, important signings in the summer, and then Berta delivering also new contracts at the club, and now Max Doman, as reported by The Athletic, the agreement is done, I can confirm that. Max Doman happy to stay, despite interest from several giants around Europe, in England and not only. Many clubs were prepared to offer him way more money than the ones offered by Arsenal. So in terms of financial proposal, there was really important money on the table from several clubs trying to tempt one of the best talents in the world in this moment. Max Doman is special, guys. You already saw him performing with the first team of Arsenal, already playing under Mikel Arteta as a coach, 2009. That's really impressive. And now the contract is ready. And so, amazing news for Arsenal. And as I always repeat, when you extend the contract, it's not just about keeping the player. It's about showing trust in the project. It's going to influence many other young players in the academy at Arsenal to see the trust from a talent like Max Doman in Arsenal project. So, very good news for the Gunners. And then, guys, I wanted to mention something also on the situation of Manchester United, because today we had rumors coming from England about Joshua Zirkzee asking officially the club to leave in the January transfer window. I want to clarify something about that, guys, because I was talking about Zirkzee here on the channel a few days ago. And I maintain what I told you. As of today is day 23 of October, Joshua Zirkzee hasn't asked Manchester United to leave the club. The agent of Joshua Zirkzee didn't go to Man United and say, okay, let the player go. This didn't happen as of today. Then, this might happen from now to January. It's a